Hey guys, Do Legit City here. Today we're going to be going over some of the mechanics of the game of Oxygen Not Included. Today we're going to be going over the Great Escape. If you guys didn't know, the Great Escape is going to be one of 3 objectives that you guys will have on your printing pod. That means this is going to be one of the ways to complete the game. And of course, that means this video is going to contain spoilers. Fair warning. After this message, we will be talking about how to complete the Great Escape. And if you guys don't want to know about that, you guys have to exit out of the video right here. So, to get it started, the 3 objectives are going to be establishing several colonies, opening the tear, and then breaching the tear. If you guys come from the vanilla game of Oxygen Not Included before the DLC came out, the Temporal tear was actually the farthest location on the star map, and that required you to make a liquid hydrogen rocket in order to reach it. Otherwise, you had no chance of actually flying out that far. In the Space Stealth DLC, they actually changed rocketry, how navigation works in space, and because of that, the temporal tear has been changed as well. Now, to get it started, establishing several colonies is fairly easy. You guys actually have something called a mini pod. This is only going to be allowed to be built 1 per planetoid, and all you have to do is build the mini pod and then activate it. So over here is as simple as just going to build a mini pod and make sure it's activated. There will be a button down below to activate, and you will have to click on it manually. The duplicates will activate it. Of course, once you complete that, you're going to be that much closer to establishing 5 separate colonies. So it's that simple. You don't actually need a base. All they're checking for is for an active mini pod. So you could very easily just land on the planet, put the mini pods in, put it at the very top where there's a vacuum, doesn't matter, or have it in the space ice. But of course, all you need to do is build 5 of these mini pods, and once you guys have that, that's all you need to do to establish the colonies. Now after that, we have to do something called opening the tear. The temporal tear is actually going to be just like in the vanilla game on the farthest part of your star map, because we start in the center and everything is going to be relative to your starting position. A lot of the times the temporal tear, although it spawns randomly in a location, it tends to spawn near the edge of the map. That's probably because they don't want it to be found earlier than it has to be, so that you don't have to dig around late game. They kind of want you to find it, so it's going to be tucked away somewhere far away. Of course, it is random, so it doesn't have to be on the last layer. It could be on the second most. But the temporal tear, once you guys do find it, it's going to be closed, as you can see right here. How do you open the tear? To get things started, you guys are going to have to find the frozen asteroid. It's going to be the duplicates that travel to the tundra asteroid right here. Will need to wear protective gear to visit harsh environments. This frozen planetoid is going to be what you're looking for. And once you guys actually set a rocket platform on it, what you guys will find out is that after you breach the surface, you guys are going to find a couple of things. Of course, the thing you're going to find is something called the Temporal Tear Opener. Now, this is the building you need to actually find. Once you find it, you have to charge it. However, it does not require power. It requires rad bolts. Now, you could see right here that it's storing 0 out of 1,000. What that means, though, is that at most it could take is rad bolts cumulatively up to 1,000, in which it will actually process after it receives it. Now, it does process the bolts fairly fast, and I did not get close to the limit while I was feeding this. That being said, it is not only 1,000 rad bolts. It's actually anywhere between 12,000 rad bolts and 13,000 rad bolts. I actually had my reactor right here run with 30 kilograms of uranium, and we barely got that charging process to 81%. Of course, if I had a 4th rad bolt generator, I would have had it, but I didn't think I needed it, and I only really just had 3 so that I would have a safe conductive line. That's because I am using some automation so that my duplicates don't have to be down here, because the research reactor is going to provide a lot of radiation, and I did not want to get them sick. So it's going to be up to you how you guys are going to provide the rad bolts for this, but keep that in mind. It is going to be an absurd amount. I estimate it's anywhere between 12,000 and 13,000 rad bolts. However, I do not know if this fluctuates. I do not know if this is a dice roll of how much rads you actually have to fill this with. However, all you know is that there is a charging percentage. The other thing about this is that you cannot actually start charging this because you have a debuff right here that says Temporal Tear not revealed. And when it's not revealed, even if you try to send rad bolts to this, it will not be stored and it will shoot past the target. The target's actually going to be the golden ring right there. So you have to find the tear first before you could even attempt to open it. Now, outside of that, you're going to get something called line of sight. The building is going to be 3 tiles wide. The height does not matter, and that's because you need to have space. In the space above the temporal tear, that means you need to have window tiles that does not impede the vision of the building. As you can see right here, I needed to have the center completely unimpeded. However, I do not know because if it's ice, it's transparent, it actually goes through. But I did have an issue with this specific tile as it was a metal tile made out of lead, and I had to add in a diamond tile right here in order for this to have line of sight. So that being said, these 3 tiles have to have window tiles above it, and I had to mine everything else out. Once you have that, you're going to be ready to charge. It's going to be up to you, and you guys don't have to worry about something bad going wrong once this reaches 100%. However, it will trigger something that you get to toggle. So you could safely leave before the bad things happen, but we'll get to that soon enough. So it's going to be up to you how you guys choose to radiate this area. One of the problems with the frozen asteroid as well as providing power, we opted to use the coal generators right here with an auto sweeper and a storage bin setup connected to a smart battery so that we don't overburn while being able to constantly provide power for the rad bolts. The reason for this and not using something like solar power was really because of the lack of lux value. On the frozen asteroid, peak light's only about 10,000, which is actually really low compared to the 40,000 that you would normally get on the starter asteroid. So as a frame of reference, you need 50,000 lux to hit max power on a solar panel, and if your peak is not even close to that, you're getting nothing. Nowhere close to that 380 watts per second that you would normally get. So because of that, I could not use solar panels for this design. Now, of course, once you guys do charge this all the way and it goes up to 100%, you're going to have a button right here that goes fire. You could click on that and it will open the tear. However, you are going to be warned there will be a meteor shower triggered on this asteroid the moment that gets kicked on. Alright, so right here we actually have the situation after we actually open the tear. We don't have the cutscene for you guys to see, but afterwards we got rained with meteors. If you guys played the vanilla game or have actually been to the Regolith asteroid, you're going to be rained on with a parade of meteors. This is the damage after the fact. A lot of the heat melted a lot of the ice. And of course, you could see how much damage it did. It does not completely wipe out your asteroid. It just gave us meteor showers. I am not sure, as I am not going to be using anything on this planet. We already took the artifacts from the pedestal. If the meteor shower is going to persist, I am not sure if it's a one-time thing or if it will be something that happens constantly. Of course, after that, that means our tear is open, and all you have to do at this point is create a rocket and launch it into the tear. What you would actually have to do, though, is fly to the tear. Your ship is going to stand next to it the moment it reaches the tile. You will have to click on the ship and then click enter. When that happens, the cutscene is going to happen, and you're going to have the completed objective. I will say that after it happens too, your dupe is lost, and you're not going to get your dupe back, and any dupes you send on the Temporal Tear mission are going to be gone from the colony. Afterwards, I don't know if this is supposed to be intended. You actually get the same thing that happens animation-wise when you get the abandoned ship button. You get the rocket debris and the escape pod animation flying through space. I'm not sure if that's intended. However, that's what happens after you enter the Temporal Tear. But with that, guys, that's going to complete your objective of the Great Escape. it will trigger a cutscene. And of course, guys, that means you guys conquered all there is to do in the game of Oxygen Not Included. Even though you reached the tear, do all the things you needed to open, enter, breach, there's still probably a lot to do. But guys, that has been the how to complete the Great Escape in the game of Oxygen Not Included. If you guys have any comments about this, leave a comment down below. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and of course guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys.